Hello Aries friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Aries September 2024 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. I'm calling the theme of this month and beyond, breakthroughs beyond belief, and I'm very excited as an Aries rising to tell you what we have in store. This is for you if Aries is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Aries placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Aries friend, so birthdays like April 15th, through the rest of the sign, or Aries degrees, 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Taurus report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. So we've got one of the most intense months of the whole year, September. We are back in eclipse season and we have the entrance of a new series of eclipses, the Pisces Virgo eclipses. And this is part of what is going to bring these breakthroughs beyond belief, not only now, but into 2027. We're on a long-term path with the themes that are going to be beginning at this time. And yes, we are still in the Aries Libra eclipse cycle. We are in the hot seat. So we've got double duty with these eclipses that are going to give us opportunities to break through even the most stubborn patterns that we've been stuck in, karmic patterns that have been in place for us and maybe our ancestors for a very long time. So we're going to build up to all of that, but I want to first start with the more quickly moving planets that are definitely going to show up in our faces, so that we can work with those and know what we're working with, and then we'll build up to these longer term, big, mega aspects. Okay, so for podcast friends, I'm putting the chart as the thumbnail so you can take a peeky if you want to. YouTube friends, I'm going to work on the chart here. So Virgo time is the September time. Here we are in that. We've got the Mercury about to be there. We've got Vesta, the Sun, Estrella, and on September 2nd, the 11-degree new moon, all in Virgo. These are not only accentuating the Virgo energies through the sign, but for Aries, since we have what's called a natural chart, we're also accentuating the Virgo house, which is the 6th house. So everything is double extra oomph for us. It's just part of how we are. It's how we experience things. It's how we interface with the world, and we can see that in the astrology. So Virgo is about discipline time. If you were in a crazy on fire frenzy from the Leo placements that we are just stepping out of after August, then you might actually welcome the break and the back to the discipline and the back to the norm and the back to the routine, because things can get kind of crazy. And although that was very inspiring, very exciting for us, very exhilarating, we could definitely get overwhelmed and overstimulated. So I know myself, when this part of the year comes, I usually tend to be pretty excited to get back into a routine and draw all of my inspiration that I got from that fire, set of transits into, breathing life into the new daily grind. But that's exactly what we'll be doing, getting back to making appointments, the dentist appointments, the, medical things, this energy rules medicine and health and wellness. So we'll probably be doing a lot of that scheduling of our yearly types of things we have to do. If you have any things that need focus for tedious projects, you'll want to use this time, because we're not going to have anything like it until the very end of the year when we get into the Capricorn time. So if you are prone to distraction and have things you've been avoiding, you can use this very disciplined Virgo energy, and you can set intentions or wishes on the that's supposed to say the September 2nd, for the new moon, to align with making your new easy schedule, making more efficiency in your life, making better organization, intentions for your pets or your animals. This is also their house, the 6th house, and the Virgo energy rules that, the pets. And anything about your workspace or your daily work, things that you want to infuse life into or have a better structure for. You can make those wishes at that time. The most important set of dates that you need to know, probably for the rest of the year even, is September 12th through October 7th. That's because this is the last stretch of time that we have freedom from personal planet retrogrades. Personal planets are Mercury, Mars, and Venus. And when one of those are moving backwards in the sky, or appear to be, or in the shadow periods before and after that time happens, it's not a terrible time, but it is a time when things slow down. Not always the best fun thing for Aries, right? That's an adjustment for us, but I will tell you how you can come to love Mars retrograde, because Mars is our ruler and it's coming. So we need to know specifically about that, and we will get there. But what we need to talk about now is the difference between retrograde energies and direct energies. If you've worked with me before, or heard, listened to my reports, some of the things I'm about to explain, but we have to go over them again so that you understand the difference between September 12th through October 7th and the time before and after it. This period of time when the planets are direct is like the tides are going out. And that means that your big launches, your big decisions, anything that you imprint with this time, with a launch or a new beginning, or something very important, a big purchase, a big sale, a big investment, a big date, a big, event, an engagement, a wedding, a commitment, important legal paperwork, all of that will have a better chance to more smoothly flow, to be more clear, to be more long-term, and to be going out far and wide without impediment. Okay, so that's the tides going out. Big launches, big new things, starting your brand new business. You're not going to have time like this until well into 2025. So if you have projects you're trying to launch, if you can get to any state of readiness, use this Virgo discipline to get them out, because otherwise you're going to not have the stars for it. And that's completely fine. Retrogrades are great for a lot of things. Even as an Aries rising, I've come to love them because it gives me a break from being like just gung-ho blazing saddles all the time. And particularly with Mars, our ruler, being retrograde, it's such a long cycle. It's going to be well into 2025 before that cycle ends. So certainly for the rest of 2024 and far into the next year, we're not going to be working with our ruler on full steam. I think it's a great time for us to be able to take a break from ourselves and take a break from our personalities and take a break from our ambitions and get super hyper focused on something that we're obsessed about. That's really good for that. Kind of a mono focus. You might find you get really hot on something and, your focus gets you to be very productive. But in absence of that thing that you are hot on, ambitions in general will tend to wane or slide or decrease, and they should. Your big life visions might descend into just some singular pieces. And it's not just you that's going to be feeling this slide. It will be other people. So if you need help doing things or getting people to do stuff they're supposed to do, then, you'll want to take advantage of this window. So what happens after October 7th is that the tides start coming in. And what happens when the tides go in? First of all, the beach gets smaller, so you feel that more constricted, less open. That's definitely a new part of my analogy I'm adding. And if you try to throw something out, it comes right back to you. And that could be great, that boomerang effect, for certain things, like a quick launch, like of something that's not your life's work, like a little business promo or just a small thing. Those things that you just want to be short-term, like very, very short-term thing, sure, it can come right back to you and just go really well. Or even something that you want to be a year or a couple of years. These retrogrades can do these short-term things, and they can work really well. You can engage in agreements with people that can be short-term, but do know that they're very likely to be shorter term than expected or change in some way significantly. So, that's the general gist of the energy. You want to take advantage of this time. All right, so as the Virgo placements move out of there, they will join the Libra party. And this is part of our big deal here. The Sun, Mercury will join Venus, Lilith, transiting South Node, and Juno in Libra. Also, October 2nd, we have that 10-degree eclipse in Libra, which is in our opposing sign. We will talk about that more in October, but because this is so relevant for us, from 2023 to 2025, we are undergoing radical changes within ourselves, within our relationships. The me versus we sector is very hotly lit up, and we're starting new chapters in relationships. New chapters in relationships with ourselves. Maybe new people will come in, especially during this time frame. That could be very long term. We could be going back into relationship if the retrogrades bring that back, because this Libra energy will be in September. It will also be very strong in October. And then it will echo out, into the first half of 2025 with these storylines. Cracking out of codependency, cracking out of unfulfillment within relationships, cracking out of the old patterns, karmic patterns that you may have inherited, either by nature or nurture, of how you are in relationships. If your parents had trouble setting boundaries, hey, guess what? Maybe you either set too many because you're doing the opposite, or you also don't set good boundaries. This is very much about loosening certain boundaries and adding them where they need to be, reshuffling around of that energy. And all of this Libra energy is going to bring in so many opportunities for social connections, so many opportunities for romantic connections, and for business connections, and for getting the help you need. Now, back on that topic, if you need help to do something, and you can condense it into these dates, September 12th through October 7th, of course, there's some wiggle room on the edges here. This is roundabout. People aren't just automatically October 8th. Now everyone is completely lazy and won't follow through with everything. But you will notice that it will be harder to have people show up as we get deeper into Mars retrograde, because it's not just you that's going to lose certain ambitions. It's going to be everybody else too. So if they're supposed to show up to do something, and specifically show up to do stuff in your house and home, because that's where Mars is going through the sign Cancer and our fourth house, which is the Cancer house, Mars is going to give us a very extra long-term focus on home, family, real estate, and housing, and our inner world, and our family dynamics, and our childhood psychology that is echoing into our relationships today. And that's because Mars usually blows through a sign, a house, in a couple of months. But with the retrograde, it's going to predominantly focus on Cancer. And then it will go into Leo and do some work there. But the predominance of the time from the rest of this year into next year is going to be really working on establishing home and family rhythms, revamping, redoing, clearing karma, getting the support to your family members, getting the support from your family members that you need, getting your house, fixed up perhaps, while Mars retrograde is not necessarily the best time to try to do a big project, because like I said, ambitions will run low, people showing up will run high, or not showing up will run high. But like little things, little repairs, if you can get someone to show up, just kind of tending to things in your house that have needed to happen. The retrograde can bring you lots of opportunities, and so can the direct movement, which is what we have in September. So whether it's direct or whether it's retrograde, you're going to be all about home and family, and you will see the many different ways that will show up. So whether it's home and family housing things, or whether it's just general help you need from other people, you need to tune into, or we need to tune into the changing of the tides here, because you will see the difference show up. But in general, so many opportunities for awesome connections, and some could be really positively life-changing, and definitely new chapters coming. So when we talk about breakthroughs beyond belief, your me-we sector is definitely one of those places that these major breakthroughs can and will happen. Your home sector is another one of those breakthroughs, and family and housing is another one of those breakthroughs beyond belief sectors where there's so much extra energy. Also Jupiter in a great angle for Aries from May 2024 into June 2025, going through the sign of Gemini, going through our house of Gemini, expanding our writing and speaking and learning and possibly even teaching and gathering of information and research projects, our mobility, our busyness, our social intentions or social circles. All of this can be just dramatically blown open with breakthroughs of things that we may have been stuck with forever. If we feel at any point that the way that we're communicating is not being heard, or we're not hearing someone in our lives, this Jupiter transit can help to fix all that. So it's prompting us to learn more about the people that are closest to us, and it's prompting us to figure out ways to present information in a way that can be heard. Aries people can be pretty direct. I really appreciate this about them. When people are like passive aggressive or avoiding or whatever, honestly, I don't know how to handle that because I'm not that way. But one of the drawbacks that we have from being so direct is sometimes the presentation of that isn't always received well by people who are not like that. And this might be an aha moment that we have during this transit where, hey, okay, if somebody has a lot of water energy, if you know their charts even better, you can see where their Mercury is, you can, go deeper into this. But if somebody seems to close up, the more direct we are, maybe a softer behind, like a roundabout written or some other way that's less direct might be a way to get through to that person. Meeting people where their love language is something that we may have an opportunity to do. in this time with Jupiter expanding that. So we can have breakthroughs in those arenas as well. And especially since our me-we sector is lit up, that's another line of energy there. Aries Libra eclipse cycles are also, or this cycle is also activating us figuring out what it is that we want to do when we grow up, no matter what age we are. And I know many people that haven't really figured that out until after their Chiron return, so like their 50s or later. So, you know, there's no time limit on tuning into your divine path. And this eclipse cycle is getting us more on track with that. So it's very exciting. A very exciting place to have breakthroughs. Okay, so on September 17th, we've got the 25-degree lunar eclipse in Pisces. This is the beginning of a cycle that goes from now until 2027 or into 2027. The last time we had this happen was 2015, 2016, first half of 2017. Prior to that, 2006, 2007, first half of 2008. Think about the very big changes that you had in your life during those times, and I'm sure they were there. Breakthroughs beyond belief in many cases, you know, and this is happening again. So these breakthroughs can happen on any level and can manifest in any area of our lives. But some ways that Pisces, since it's the house and the sign that it's happening in for us, plus we have the continued energy of Neptune in Pisces and Saturn in Pisces, moving through our 12th house of Pisces, we have a ton of Pisces energy. So the more we can understand that and see how these eclipses might bring things that were in the subconscious space into the conscious space to work with, the more we can actively use this energy. So some breakthroughs we may see, spiritual awakening and enlightenment. We might have deep spiritual insights that come from this, you know, a heightened connection to the divine or greater understanding of your spiritual path, significant insights into your life's purpose. This is all feeding into some of the other layers of the Aries Libra eclipse cycle that I was talking about. Profound inner healing. The eclipse can prompt you to confront and heal these deep-seated emotional wounds and past traumas. A lot of times, Aries feel like maybe they have thick skin and that a lot of stuff rolls off of them. And, you know, maybe that's true for you. I think in some ways, especially for an Aries rising person, that can be a mask. And there's something below that that may need to be looked at, you know. I mean, it's true for all Aries placements, but remember that for rising signs are our masks. It's one of the coping mechanisms that we have to deal with the stresses of life. And depending on how different, you know, other parts of your nature are compared to that mask, there could be a lot of, you know, bravado that's hiding a bunch of, you know, softness, soft-belliedness. This could be an amazing time of self-discovery. So habits, like using this Virgo discipline, this daily habit energy to have, you know, to start doing things like meditation or journaling or regular therapy or anything where you're working with your subconscious mind. Subliminals with binaural beats, affirmations, things like that. All of these on their own are powerful, but when putting together like a nice Virgo program of a daily practice, it's profound what can happen. There's an organization that I have meditations from called EOC Institute. I don't make any money from this. I'm just mentioning it to you because I love them and it can be helpful to you. The EOC Institute is a nonprofit, and they have, their newsletter is phenomenal. It will just bring more and more information about how meditation can adjust and affect every single area of our lives. And they have some products, but they're not very expensive, and they're not constantly trying to upsell you or sell you on more things. Their goal really is to just get people meditating. And maybe this is the time for that. Maybe the breakthrough that happens in this subconscious space for you is the realization of how much can be improved by that practice. And then again, the Virgo energies are here, you know. This Pisces Virgo axis is exactly what it is. So anything that's getting worked up for this period of time is getting activated into 2027 is going to be on this axis of Pisces versus Virgo. You know, so the seen and the unseen, the chaos versus the structure, the physical body versus the mind and the emotions. Major endings and closures, including the clearing up of addictions and clearing through of fears, clearing out of habits or old ways of thinking that are no longer serving you. Major detoxification, digital detox, you know, body detox, emotional detox, clearing out your space, sacred space detox, This is a profound time, both in the short term and the long term, for your intuitive development. Aries may think that they run on instinct sometimes, and we do, and sometimes people use the word instinct to not say the word intuition, but it's really the same thing, because your body is tuning into something that is felt in the unseen realm, and you feel it in your physical body. And a lot of times that's where we feel the intuition. We feel it in our stomach, we feel it in our head, we feel it, Aries rules the head. So a lot of times we'll feel things like right in our head, right in our third eye, a zap will come of information. And this is a time for this development. And you could use your subconscious space and your dream time, because this 12th house rules the dreams too. Dream time, lucid dreaming. You may have experiences that defy logical explanation, like premonitions or a sense of knowing things before they happen. I remember my first major intuition. I had many before that, but the one that I remember was really profound, and it's kind of a crazy story. I don't know how much of it I want to go into, but I remember the feeling. I was starting to feel anxious, like somebody asked me to check on someone for them. My friend asked me to check on her dad, who I was very close with, and I was a kid. I was, I don't know, maybe 11 or 12, and maybe 13, and I was starting to walk from work to go to her house to check on him, and then I got this pain in my stomach. And then I started running. And then as I started running, it started raining. And like all of this energy was circulating around. And I was super anxious. And I ran at top speed. And I got there. And my friend's dad had collapsed. And I actually had to administer rescue breathing. I didn't know how to do that. I had to call 911. It was crazy. But I felt it in my body before it happened, is the point. And this might be how your intuition develops, is this strong body connection. This may elicit a time for solitude. You might feel this strong pull towards the inner realms. And Saturn being here, something to know about Saturn being here while we're on the topic is it can make you depressed. If you have been depressed and you're not known for being depressed, or if you are and then it's coming back, then Saturn is a very tough transit for Saturn. So you may need to do serotonin boosting activities, and you can look up what they are. You might need a team to help support you. You might need different nutritional things, and you may just need more solitude. You may become a person who's introverted when you never were introverted before, especially during the time of this Saturn transit. But any Pisces transits, including this eclipse, may make you feel like you need to dive into solitude. Spiritual retreats, spiritual practices, anything that helps you connect with your inner self, or people who've passed on, or the subconscious space, or the cosmic consciousness where we're all connected, the interconnection, web of life. All of that is what we're working with at this time. And the breakthroughs that can come from that focus are actually beyond belief. So there are many things to know about the eclipses. Obviously, I'm talking about all this other stuff, and there's more to talk about. So if you want to learn more about the eclipses, go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in, you'll get a welcome letter. There will be my eclipse resource page, and I will give you resources on the Libra eclipses and the Pisces eclipses to dive more into the potentials that you can find. And so I have that info there. I have given you some very important dates here. And there are more aspects to know this month. Again, when you go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your number, or your name, not your number, your name and email address in there. In the welcome letter, you'll get an archive link, and you just put September 2024 in the search bar when you get into the archives, and you can find my sweet and salty dates and all other dates that could be relevant. This is definitely a time when breakthroughs beyond belief can occur, and we can really skyrocket into our next octaves of being. Okay, so remember to subscribe, click the bell, and enable notifications to make sure that my reports get delivered right to where you can get them as soon as possible. If you want them even earlier, go to anniehelpsyou.com. Another perk you get when you join my free VIP community is you get access to my horoscope, my public horoscopes early. Okay, so just put your name and email address in here. Click receive, look for my welcome letter in the inbox. Once you get it, you'll get the eclipse resource page link. You'll get the health tips link. You'll get my 28-day virtual coaching program. You'll get, You can search for the September 2024 in the archive link to get the sweet and salty aspect dates. You can get my Train Your Brain audio, all of these goodies. And you will get mini astrology lessons as well. Now, if you want a more organized, structured learning of astrology, I am your girl. I've been an astrology teacher for decades. I've brought people, many people, to being able to earn money from their love of astrology. So if you scroll down and you click on Up Level, then you can see my courses, my Astrology Basics and Beyond course, or my Become a Professional Astrologer Master Certification course. And if you're listening to this anytime through the end of August, you will get $1,100 worth of free courses when you enroll in this course now. So you can see that there, or you can go to beastropro.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.